Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about how to write linear equations. So first we're going to look at how we can write them when we're given a graph. Step 1 is find your slope, which is your m value. Hint, use rise over run. Step 2 is to find your y-intercept, that's your b value. Remember, y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis. And then step 3 is we're going to fill in just the m and the b in the equation y equals mx plus b. The x and the y just represent every single ordered pair or point along that graphed line. Alright, so here we go. Let's take a look at these. Let's write the equation of the line below. So first we're going to find our slope. So we need to pick 2 points to find our rise and run through. So I'm just going to pick these 2 points right here. And I always work left to right. So this point here is furthest to the left. So my rise tells me I have to go down. I went down 2, so it's -2. My run, right, I went to the right, so my run is a +3. So remember, our rise, or our slope is our rise over run. So I went down 2, right 3. I can make sure that that's in simplest form. Right? So my official slope is -2/3. Now our y-intercept. So here's my y-axis, the vertical number line. Where's my line crossing? It crosses right here. So my y-intercept is 4. All right, well now we can go ahead and write our equation. We can write it in that form, y equals mx plus b. So we're going to fill in the m with the -2/3. We're going to fill in the b with the 4. And there's our equation. All right, now let's try this one over here. All right, so this one's a horizontal line. So we need to pick a couple points to find our rise over run. So I've got a point here, and now I'm going to pick one more point. I'm just going to put a point right there. Okay, so to get from here to here, how far do I rise? Well, I don't. There is no rise. Right? There's no going up. There's only a run. Whoops. So there's only a run. Right, well, how far did I run? Well, I went 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so my rise over run is 0/4. I didn't rise at all, but I did run 4. So my slope is just 0. We say it has a y-intercept of -7. Where did it cross that y-axis? Right there at -7. So now we can come down and we can write out our equation. Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to fill in the m and the b. And it becomes y equals 0x minus 7. Now that 0x, okay, we can simplify that. Any term with a 0 in it, we can get rid of. Okay? We can take that right out, and we now have the equation y equals -7. And that one's done. All right, I want you to try this next one on your own. Go ahead and pause the video now. All right, let's take a look at how we write equations from a table. All right, well, we already know how to find slope from a table. Remember, that's our change in y over our change in x. So first we're going to determine what is that change in y, okay, over the change in x. So how do I get from -1 to 1, or 1 to 3, or 3 to 5, or 3 to 7? Well, each time I have to add 2. Okay, well, what about my change in x? Each time I went from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each time it looks like we added 1. So our change in y over our change in x was 2/1, which can simplify to just 2. All right, now our y-intercept. So let's go back over to here really quick. And when we found our y-intercept on here, it's this point right here. This point has an ordered pair of 0, 4. In fact, no matter where you are on the y-axis, it'll always be 0, some number. So that's what we have to look for when we're here. We need to look for that 0 in the x column. So when we look for that, when I look over here to the x column, I want to look for that 0. So there it is. Okay, that is my y-intercept. And so my b equals -1. So now when we go to write our equation, y equals mx plus b, we fill in our m, we fill in our b, and then we have our answer. Let's do one more. So again, we're going to find our change in y over our change in x. So to go through each of these, I had to add 3 both times for my change in y, and then for my change in x each time, we added 2. So my slope in this case is going to become 3 over 2. And we check to make sure it's in simplest form. It is. Now we look for the 0 in the x column. So here it is. So our slope is, or our y-intercept is 0, 9, and we say our b value is just 9. We write our equation, substitute in the slope and the y-intercept, and we have our final equation. Okay, that concludes our video. I want you to make sure that your try on your owns are complete, and I will see you in class next time.